Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It's Friday. That means you have survived the week. I cannot say the same for myself because I'm sick. Quite bad, actually. I have a strong fever, and I'm going to USA tomorrow for 2 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope the universe is going to take care of me. I have a very great team of people around me, so very grateful for them also. But the show must go on. And though I personally have a tough time right now, fortunately, from Ukraine we get good news upon good news. I'm glad because I don't know if I could handle any bad news right now, being where I am. But are you ready for it? Get your popcorn, get your happy mood on, put on your pajamas, because this is a very great story. My friends, it is confirmed officially, it's confirmed on video, it's all official, so I'm happy to bring you another Russian submarine. This is a Russian missile carrier corvette, Ivanovets, which was turned into a submarine by Ukrainian kamikazes. So Ukraine actually gave a gift of a submarine to the Russian Black Sea Fleet. We're gonna watch the entire video, which is 2 minutes long. It's too beautiful to ignore. Yes, the entire thing. Boom! Ivanovets, right here we have a Ukrainian drone aiming down like Counter-Strike with the crosshair, aiming down to the hull of it, and bada bim, bada boom. Hey, beautiful! This is the visuals of liberation, visuals of freedom for Ukraine. Look at this. The bullets are going into the water. That means the corvette is laying down some anti-drone machine gun fire. Well, that's it. That's all it is, machine gun fire. Because if they would have used their AK, the Russian Sea Whiz, the Russian Sea Ram, yes, they have the very same ones on ships, the things. If they would have used those, these drones would be done. But again, it's like most Russian tech, only on video. They don't have them. We see what the second drone does. It's the back of the ship. Bada boom! It went. I have to pause and tell you what happened. The first drone blew a big hole, and you can see it on this actually. This is the first drone's hole on the side of the ship. Now this right here is where all of the missiles are stationed. This little rectangle right here. The second drone we just witnessed blew a hole in the back of the ship, immobilizing it or making it in circles. Now this is the third drone, and let's see where it goes. The third drone is looking for a target, sees the missile silos right here, and goes and aims, and you can see all of the wiring and all of the heat left from the first drone's explosion, aims directly into the same hole, and we can see in a magnificent way it demilitarizes the ship for the second time into the same hole. Let's look at again the third explosion, and on this footage we have it more precisely going into the old hole of the first explosion. This here, mind, is the missile silo. Let's see, it's going zigzag like that to avoid the machine gun fire. You can see the insides of the ship. It's all bruised up. You can see the wiring and all the technology inside, torn apart by the first explosion, and the second one connects, and in a magnificent way, the freedom of Ukraine is turning Russian Black Sea Fleet into a submarine fleet. Beautiful, beautiful. Now this Russian corvette cost up to 70 million USD, so it's pretty expensive. A big loss now in the bottom, under the sea, as they say. Now this happened on Lake Yaroslav. And as you can see, the lake is, I don't know how you call it, like breakaway, as I see in the text right here. Well, it has this defend barrier on this lake, because this is the Black Sea right here. And this tiny gap right here, usually, knowing the Russians, is covered by dolphins, by boobies, or the floating devices that float and stop the drones. I don't know, you call them in English. My vocabulary is an issue here. It's defended by all kinds of means. Well, Ukraine managed to push through at least four, but maybe more for security, 4 to 6 marine drones, sea babies, through this tiny gap right here into Lake Yaroslav and demilitarize a Russian corvette. And here, my friends, just to hammer down the point even more, this is the hole from the first explosion. The second one went into the back of the ship. Now this is the third drone. Sees again the missile silos right here. It's a missile carrier responsible for some of the civilian casualties in Ukraine, shooting the missiles. This third drone aims for this, and the biggest explosion was the third one. The missiles in the end detonated. This means that these missions are not just, okay, let's have some fun and let's go with 6 drones. They know exactly what are they hunting, where are the missiles on this specific ship, where is the ship, and what do we need to destroy it. So great job, Ukrainian drones. Now this, my friends, is a visually confirmed losses of the Russian Black Sea Fleet by Ukrainian, I cannot call it Navy, I can call it SPU or GUR, but I cannot call it Navy because they don't have a Navy in the traditional sense. And we see that out of the biggest Russian fleet assets, it's not really half, it's 1/3 actually officially. It's about 1/3 of Russian Black Sea Fleet has been demilitarized or damaged, that they cannot take part of the battle for the next 5 years, some of them forever. For example, Moskva, the new Russian submarine, it will never be a ship again. This is what the corvette Ivanovets looked like, and I cannot tell you what it looks like under the sea as a submarine, but I'm sure it's a magnificent submarine. Now this is the final photo from the drone, final video from the drone of the Ivanovets. Looks like Titanic actually, going down, the hull is right that. And I'm sure the Russian Ministry of Defense will claim that the ship is only slightly damaged and most of the drones were destroyed. And we will repair the ship in no time. Well, good luck repairing that submarine, my friends. I know this is a military analysis channel, but this is such a big news and I'm sick, so I will take 1 minute of your life, 1 minute of your time to just force some very great memes down. Ukrainian naval kamikaze drones versus Russian Ivanovets. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, let's move on. NATO fellas, right now. Oh, that's the stuff I donated $5 on. Yes, my friends, because most Ukrainian top-notch technology, drones and siege drones are done by volunteers, money, donations. So you can actually, this is the truth. This is the reality. NATO fellas, all the donators are kind of responsible for this marine drones because they have been funded by volunteers. So congratulations, it's your achievement also. Now, General George Patton said this almost a century ago. The Russian has no regard for human life, and they are all out sons of bitches, barbarians, and chronic drunks. And George Patton was a very wise guy. He said it, it's the truth. I can also vouch for this. And here we can see what happens inside the ship, and the call goes to Putin. He's like, Comrade Commissar Putin, everything is fine, don't worry, it's just a scratch, the ship is okay. All right, my friends, in all seriousness, we'll carry on. The minute I stole from your life is over, and now we'll go back to serious military topics. Now, this is the weaponry that was given to one of the Russian militia's units. They're probably part of territorial defense because they get the worst weaponry, or they're part of the People's Republics, Luhansk and Donetsk militias, because they get the worst of the worst. And what we see here are old World War era Soviet machine guns and World War I era Maxim machine guns. Now, what it shows us that Russia is truly lacking machine guns to give to all soldiers. Now, I would say the true facts here are that most of Russian soldiers have proper weaponry, Kalashnikovs, and they have no issues with it. When it comes to territorial defense forces and Lugansk and Donetsk People's Republic's forces, then yeah, that minority might have issues and they are giving the crap out of museums. This does not say anything about the whole of the Russian army. Most of them have properly working, very reliable Kalashnikovs. But again, these weapons are given to them. I do have to say the disclaimer that until you have ammunition for these weapons, they are not bad at all. They shoot the same, they kill the same, if you have ammunition. The biggest issue is the ammunition. Maxim machine gun, this very old, Ded Maxim, they call it in Russian, Uncle Maxim. It's a very, very, very reliable machine gun. It's a Land Cruiser of a machine gun. Otherwise, they wouldn't use it for 100 years, almost. It is a good machine gun. The rate of fire is slow, but if you get hit with it, you're gone. Same way as anything else. These machine guns next to it also very good weapons if you have ammunition. They do get stuck like every other machine gun because modern machine guns also get stuck or jam. It happens to any weapon and any mechanics that moves nowadays. So my point here is, yes, it gives us a little bit of Russian army doesn't have guns, but the reality is that they do, because Kalashnikovs are unfortunately one thing that Russia can produce the hell out of. So this is a very minor, isolated event here, but it does exist. Yes, Russia has men in their army that fight with these weapons. Now, my friends, a little Ukrainian story, because I came back from Ukraine, and I'll be putting in every video a little snippet. This time I want to show you how I met with American, United States former ambassador to Ukraine and a legendary United States diplomat and politician, William B. Taylor. Now, in the meeting, there were present United States, Ukrainian intelligence, represented were Estonia, United States, and Ukraine. And we discussed, and it's mostly OPSEC, but what I can say, we discussed certain new Ukrainian capabilities for certain things happening inside Russia in the future. That's all I can say. The meeting went great. We could really feel the United States support for Ukraine in that meeting. We can really feel that Ukraine is making the most and even more out of United States and European support from that meeting. So I'm just here to confirm you that whatever you read from the mainstream media, it is there for clicks. They need the clicks and they need the money because it's a capitalist system and you need to get more clicks to be better than other media outlets. So that's it. That's the game. What happens behind the scenes is what happened in that meeting. And I'm telling you, United States support is there, European support is there. And Ukraine has some very big surprises. My friend, this is a Russian soldier's intercepted call from Avdiivka, just to give you an idea again from the source, from the battlefield itself, from the Russian side. What are they facing there? What are their feelings? How do they see it every day? I'll read you the subtitles, and the video is translated by Dmitry in the Twitter, so you can go and follow him. We simply ended up where we weren't meant to be. Went without artillery support, sent along the quarry. If it means the quarry, it probably means the Terikon, the waste height of the north, the waste mountain of the northeast of Avdiivka, the coal plant. In the quarry, machine guns on one side, another side drone in the air. And 2 mortars were demolishing us. Yes, Ukrainians have machine guns. Look, like most of Ukraine is open fields. If you charge, the Russians do mostly over open fields. It's machine guns, mortars, and drones. I mean, it's very hard to penetrate that. Like morons, we ran around the quarry. Our guide went somewhere, no idea where to go. I said to battalion commander to his face, "Are you taking responsibility for those who stayed there?" We weren't meant to be there. Who sent us without artillery? Who? And it's even peculiar because Ukraine shoots out 2,000 artillery shells per day. Russia shoots out 10,000, somewhere around those lines. And if they were sent without artillery support, where are those 10,000 going? You know where? Civilian villages. They bombard civilians with those 10,000. Will you take responsibility? To the battalion commander. And Sonia, instant silence, is talking to Sonia, probably to his sister or girlfriend or mother or something. I was immediately arrested, spent 4 days in a pit. I was rounded out. Like, yeah, in the Russia, there's a pit system, punishment system. For light and easy punishments, it's very easy to monitor. You throw them all into a cellar or a pit. One guy has to guard it, and you get like 10 guys. You don't feed them for 4 or 5 days, and they are very obedient after that. So the guy asked battalion commander, what about the deaths in the quarry? And immediately arrested, put into pit. That's how it works. It's a fear system based purely out of blind order and fear. That's 2 pillars of the Russian army, blind order and fear. If you go against, like if you're not afraid and you dare to ask, or if you don't follow the order, you will go into the pit. And if that doesn't help, you will be in the pit and you will die in the pit. And the worst thing is that the boys who died, they said they'll pick them up. So the Russian, higher aboves promised the guy to retrieve the bodies. Earlier, not far from Avdiivka, we still can't collect our guys. They're there for over a month. Now, I don't know if I can say this, but I will just say this. Yeah, the Russian guys are not collected ever, almost ever. And they litter the frontline areas. And I don't want to describe it because of YouTube overlordship, but what I can say is it's a very common sight to see extremely fat pigs, and wild dogs and cats, extremely fat, like too fat. All these three types on the front lines. It's not a rare sight, and there's a reason why Ukrainian troops don't eat those pigs, don't hunt those pigs. Not because they're not hungry, they are hungry, but they don't want to. You can think the rest to yourself. Foxes are eating, finishing the boys. For your understanding, no body, no problem. This is what Stalin said, and the Russian army works the same still. Stalin said famously, death of one man is a tragedy, death of 1,000 is statistics. And he also said, no man, no problem. This is how he lived, this is how he ordered everybody to be sent to Siberia or Gulag or disappear. Same goes in the Russian army. A man comes with a problem, you eliminate the man, you eliminate the problem. This is how they work. That is, yes, compensation for relatives. So if there is no body, you don't have to compensate the relatives because you cannot confirm the guy died. So Russian Ministry of Defense is saving millions, perhaps hundreds of millions USD by not collecting the bodies. Yes, I give him the phone and say, now explain. I don't want to burden you with more of that call, it gets very dark, but I think you get the idea. My friends, and as I mentioned, good news coming from this video. First one was the submarine, Russian new submarine. The second one is, are you ready for this? Do you have your popcorn? Do you have your pajamas? Get comfy, because the EU confirmed, officially confirmed, so it means this is happening, 50 billion euros, 54 billion USD transfer to Ukraine, aid packet to Ukraine. It's not just pure money. I'll open up what it is, but what it is, in short terms, in simple words, is a long-term plan to support Ukraine, not for 1-2 years, for 5 years, up until 2027, for 3 years, up until 2027. So the next 3 years, EU will be very focused and very strategically preparing to support Ukraine with money and with everything else. So they have a long-term plan, and it has gone through. Hungary, the biggest opposition to that, had a veto right. 27 member states voted. And you know what Hungary did? Before that, up until a year, they have promised, okay, we will never pass this bill. I am pro-Putin. I will, I'm a Trojan horse inside the EU. That's Hungary. Well, Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, backed down without getting any concessions. He backed down. And EU didn't have to give him anything in return. He understood that without the EU, Hungary is done, fully done, like done. That's the truth. He's a wise man, he understood it, backed down, and now in the next 3 years, Ukraine will be supported financially with weapons, with humanitarian support, and they will win the war. Now I will open up what these 50 billion euros will go to, and it's not just money coughed at a problem. EU doesn't do it like that. The special fund known as the Ukraine Facility combines 33 billion in loans. So over half of that is a loan that Ukraine has to pay back in the future. It's probably a very long-term loan. And 17 billion in grants, and will be gradually dispersed between 2024 and 2027. Payments will be conditional, like the EU payments to Ukraine will be conditional, and this is the most important, check this out, on the completion of structural reforms related to public administration, good governance, the rule of law, and the fight against corruption and fraud. So all of that money has a term. We will pay periodically if Ukraine periodically shows good steps in eliminating the corruption, good governance, the public administration, which also includes public transport, health, insurance, all of this stuff, and anti-corruption. So EU is guiding Ukraine into the proper direction with the leverage of giving them money. It's like, you gotta fix your country and then we will give you this and that. Good, perfect, love it, love to hear it, and Putin is screwed. He lost a ship, and now his whole gamble was that the West will get tired of supporting Ukraine. Well, 50 billion is coming. Where is the tiredness? No, I am seeing, and I told you from the meeting in Ukraine with the United States diplomat and Gur, behind the scenes, much more is going on than the Western headlines of fear. Don't believe it. It's just for clicks. It's just for show. You want the truth? Watch this Watch this channel right here. I'll bring you the good information. And now, my friends, for the last time in Estonia, before I'm going to the US, I'll butcher some Patreon names who are the bread and butter of this channel, making it able for me to do this, for me to be so relaxed on screen, because I don't have to worry about a lot of things. So thank you to the next people. Prindau Liviu. Katalin Surdu. Oh my God, I haven't seen these letters. What are these letters? Greg Kurje. Bill Lallemand. Paul Wilson. Thomas Youngsta Tche Gangsta. Robert William Smithline. Robert Kaivin. We have two Roberts. Christian Horn. David Lucas. Jason Johansson. Thank you to these people. If you like my channel, Patreon link is in the description below. And in Patreon, you'll get a weekly sit rep of what happens behind the scenes on this channel, where I'm going, what I'm doing. Everything that I cannot put on YouTube will be up on Patreon. Up until my next video, my friends, which will come from the USA. And if I cannot upload every day, I'll try, but it's going to be an insane trip, and I'll try the rest, and I have a fever, and look, it's a weird situation. I'll do my best to work for you, so be back on my channel. Until my next video, my friends, Slava Ukraini, and bye-bye.